Okay, for this video, I'm going to do a quick little, this is going to be a quick sketch of a hand that's fisted similarly to this here, where the finger is almost, the hand's relaxed, it's closed, and then the finger is almost like about to point to something or maybe pick something up or move. So let's get started. Make sure you have a pencil, an eraser. The pencil doesn't need to be sharp. I'm not really a big fan of really sharp pencils for these value drawings. So you just need a pencil and then you can get started. You can either have your paper portrait style or landscape style for this. And let's get started with our drawing. We're going to start like right here in the middle of the page. So you can imagine like a large circle area here that we're going to be working inside of. And we're going to get started. First, we just want to outline our outer fingers here. And each finger is going to have like a oval, an ovular shape to an ovular shape, where it's going to be like an oval. Here's a fingernail. It's like the bottom of the hand. And then we're going to make our half arcs here. This is the top of one of the fingers, the pointer finger actually. And we're going to make a circle here. It's kind of going to be like this because we're looking right at the finger. The fingernail is here. And then the finger is like squished in between the thumb here. The hands is one of the hand as a figure is one of the hardest things to draw. So you're going to see here that you're going to feel like this is just not working. But you should just take your time and, use your eraser and fix what you don't like. And shade in what you do. And then just kind of start over and fix what, needs to be fixed. But all the hands are really like, all the fingers are ovals. But with the hand, to really capture the pieces of the fingers and the hand, it's not easy to do. Because your eye wants to tell you something else is there that's just not really there. So you just have to take your time and kind of work with what you have and don't get upset at yourself. And don't force yourself to add something there that's just really not there. So, take your time in adding in the different pieces. The thumb has this fat part here. I'm going to fix the pieces of the drawing that I don't like that are misproportionate. So right over here is misproportionate to what I want it to be. So I'm going to add that. I'm going to erase it and fix it and add it to what it's supposed to be. And then I'm going to fix this over here too. This isn't correct. Because this is supposed to be tucked in under here. So I'm going to go and fix this right here. So that's tucked in there. I'm going to smooth that back out. And then hide the fingernail under here. As if the hand, you know, has this fat area right here that's just coming out. And this is tucked under there. It gives you a different look. So I'm going to fix that. And then some of the fingernails don't have the look that I want them to have. So I'm going to change those too. So they should have more of a rounded piece to them. Where they don't look too rectangular. They can start off rectangular and then you go ahead and curve them and fix them on the inside. Oh, I didn't see that. There's a large indentation in here. And there's that back piece of the hand. This goes out, comes back in, and then comes around here. Like so. Because that skin here is really chunky. This is too dark, so I'll lighten that up. And then we'll smooth some of this out. If this comes out too far, you can erase it and bring it in. And then let me go fix this here. I don't like the way the thumb looks. So I'm going to fix this right in here. And now I'm going to add in those lines that everyone's fingers have. That line of where the bone bends with the muscle. I'm going to erase some of those areas in here. So you can just darken it in and then just use the eraser to fix those areas. Where it's not, where the fingernail is just too dark for the hand area. And my thumb should kind of come up a little bit higher on the top here. See, that's what I'm saying about your eye wanting things to be different from what actually is on the paper. Because when I first did this, I brought the middle piece of the thumb down too far. And that is just me looking at it, wanting it to be something it's just not. So make sure when you're drawing, you kind of even glance back and say, proportionately, anatomically, if this is here, this is like closed off. Where does the thumb sit in regards to the pointer finger? Does the thumb come up over the pointer finger, or is it all the way down too far? How high does it sit up depending on the pose? So you can look at your hand and gauge if your drawing is correct or incorrect, because our bones grow based off of measurements per age level. So depending on where you are in your age is your bone development. And you can see on a drawing the age of a person's hand and where those fingers lie, based off of studies that have been done on cadavers. Artists are able to pinpoint different parts of a person's life based off of the age range of their body and how far those bones have grown based on age. So you're really going to want to look at your hand, study real life to see what it's supposed to be, and see does it match up. Like you don't want to have like a Shrek hand or some other character's hand that just really doesn't fit into what you're trying to do. So pay attention to what you're doing. Don't just draw haphazardly, and don't force designs into the paper that are not correct. So even as I'm looking at my thumb here with my fingernail sits a lot higher than the skin of the finger. So I can look at that and say, you know, I'm going to bring the thumb skin down here. And then have this bend in the hand come out up here, and then change it. If it still looks incorrect, or you're like, this is just not working, you can just go back to basics and say, all right, what's the basic shape of the thumb here? It looks like it's a half moon rectangle. So what you can do is, it's still oval. You can put an oval in here, like so. And then you can see here where the skin comes out right here. You're going to add in that fingernail on the thumb. And then what you can do is do some shading, because you can already see that it's beginning to form what you're looking for. And then add the lights and darks where they need to be on the thumb. So at the bends of the thumb is where you have your darker lines, where you can do your shading. Now, I feel like my finger should have been brought down to here, based off of just looking at it. Doesn't look, again, talking about anatomically correct in what your design should look like. So now if I bring the fingernails down and make them longer, does that fit into the drawing, into the design, to look more realistic? I do have a drawing that I'm following along with, or copying off of. So I can look and say, proportionately, one looks like it's wrong and one looks like it's correct, because we're looking at proportion, which is one of our principles of design, and shape, line, and texture go along with our elements of art. So we can look at all of these things here and begin to measure. Does this finger, the ring finger, measure up to the middle finger? Middle fingers are usually a bit longer, so you can extend it out a little bit further. Bring your fingernail down here, erase. Proportionally, where does my thumb sit in proportion to the middle finger and the ring finger? So these are all the things that you're gonna pay attention to when you're drawing form, when you're creating, and how you're doing what you're drawing, how you're drawing your figure. These are the things you want to pay attention to when working with figure drawings, and proportion, and being correct, and using the 7 elements of art. So now we have the back of the hand here. And what we can do, just to give our hands some atmosphere and space, we can go ahead and shade in the background to add in some depth to what we're doing, so the hand just doesn't sit in the middle of the paper awkwardly. So I'm going to shade in. I'm even going to bring in some value down here, and I add any value to the bottom of the hand here. So these are some of the things you can do to kind of fix your drawing to be what it's supposed to be. There we go. And now this is actually supposed to be wider here. This just kind of comes out a little bit further. And then this sits up a little higher. But then the indent is not as big as I made it. So I'm going to erase that line there and begin to fix those pieces of the art that are wrong. Remember I said the hand is the hardest figure of the human body to replicate. People spend years just practicing working on the hand, because it's just not easy. Usually there's like body markers to try to help you, like when you're drawing a portrait. There's pieces of the ear and the eye and the nose and the mouth that sit at a specific angle so that you know, okay, if the ear is here, then I can begin to bring in the mouth and the nose because of that triangle that sits with the mandible bone and the nose and different parts of the face. But when you're working with the hand, it's not one of those muscular, I mean, it's not a piece that's just easy to recreate. When you look at the form of it, it has more tendons, and the bones are just really flat on the inside of the hand. They give us some structure, but not that much like the skull. The skull is more of a structured body part that helps us to navigate what we're trying to do when we're recreating the design. So it's easier to work with. But our hand here is one of those pieces that's not that easy to work with. Because I still see errors in this here. There's a lot of errors that I'm going to have to go back in and fix. For one, I don't even have that line, that main line that's right there. And then this one, this main line that comes across here, gives us that main bend. And see, those are the pieces that I'm talking about, that I'm looking for when you hear me talk about drawing forms and those key markers, those body markers, when you're looking at bone and where the tendons lie in the hand. You can see that I looked at this piece of the drawing, and I said, something's not right there. I'm missing some key pieces. And the way the light hits the work changes things as well. So you can kind of go back in and highlight those main high points of the drawing with your eraser to kind of get those in. Things that are shiny for texture. Fingernails are shinier than the skin. So you want to add those in. You're going to want to add those in. So you can see now that we're getting a different look to the drawing based off of adding in darks, lights, our values in the piece. So make sure to take some time, work on this so that it works for you, so that you really get the look that you're trying to go for. The hand is bent right here. Then I had that line in there that's not supposed to be there. But remember, there was this divot there. This goes here. Over in here, there's some shading. You can spend hours just on one drawing trying to perfect it, so it looks realistic. Oh, look how this here sits not that symmetrical. And I just cheated and said, oh, it should be symmetrical. No, it's wrong. It should actually sit here. And then this side comes over further. So I fixed it. That was my error. I'm going to go over here and start to smooth out this background. You can even use a sheet of paper to smooth out your background to get a more polished look to your design. Now I'm losing my fingernail here. So instead of me highlighting the inside of the fingernail, I'm going to come out and darken the outer area. Almost to create like a little halo around the design. And then I can erase some of the key areas on the inside. Not key areas, erase areas that need to be highlighted. You can just add in some highlights. So now the fingernail, there we go. And I still don't like the way this doesn't indent enough. And then when I add the indent, I don't really like it. So I'm going to just fix some other areas that don't look the way they're supposed to look. And then maybe that'll help round out the thumb. So having that value scale really helps these drawings to come along. Making sure you have enough darks and lights and your proportions are correct. Because if that's not right, it's still not going to look right. So I still have to go back in, add areas, you know, and take away from things that are just still bothering me, that are not correct. I don't want hard drawn lines. It's better to have like shapes and values. Shapes of dark, shapes of light that create the design. So when you're working, it looks more of a cohesive unit instead of just like this big drawn piece of work. It still looks like it's real life. Because it becomes more 3D. That's when I say it looks more real life, it just becomes 3D. Almost like somebody took a camera and captured it, a real life moment. But it's still a drawn piece. However, your lights and your darks, your contrasts, give it that 3D look that you really want. Let me erase this here to try to define these fingers here. Let me erase this. I'm going to try to bring this around. so that finger is coming off better than what it was before. And it's the little things that make drawings what they're supposed to be. Like just me shifting that little line there just makes all the more difference. It's just the way little things change your design. And that's why you see me still coming back in and really working with some of those pieces. All right, well, happy drawing. I hope it works out for you. You can always erase if it didn't, or start again and see where it lands you. Never hurts to just kind of keep manipulating the graphite, moving it around on the paper, and seeing what you can come up with. Graphite is forgiving. This is not pen. If we were working in pen, this would be a totally different drawing. I'd be working slower, probably, to try to create, you know, more realistic design. Because graphite is totally different from pen. With pen, you have to work a little bit slower. So, happy drawing.